Alright, welcome back everybody. So the first song kind of eased us into the album, and now we're on to song number 2, Paranoid Android, which, yeah, this song is really, really cool. Alright, I'm recording this after I've already recorded the reaction. This is an intro. We're going through the entire album. I would recommend looking at the videos before this. I'm going to put them all in a playlist so that you can see them all. Hopefully they don't get blocked or whatever. And, yeah, thank you very much for joining me. This is my reaction to Radiohead's OK Computer album. This is song number 2, and just for any newcomers, again, I listened to the whole album all in one sitting, and then I'm cutting up that recording and putting these intros and the lyrical dissection, tacking that onto the end. All right, thank you for watching. Let's get into it. Interesting change to acoustic guitar.
Please could you stop the noise? I'm trying to get somewhere.
His style of singing is very interesting too. Building towards. Oh, come on. Okay.
You will be fast against the
wall. What? That was an interesting line.
With your opinion, which is of no consequence at all.
Oh my.
What's
That is really cool.
ambition makes you look pretty ugly. Kick and squealing goose, you little piggy.
Oh my. It sounds so happy, yet there's a layer of anger under there.
You don't remember when you remember my name. I feel his head, man, I feel his head, man. When you remember my name, I guess you do.
Wow, that was really cool. Put that up. What the heck? Interesting. Whoa, the harmonies are awesome. so earnest. It's crazy. Strangely very powerful. We're back to this. No, don't end. Oh, dang it. All right. So, yeah. This song is a masterpiece. There is, yeah, wow. Holy cow. Okay. Yeah. When I'm recording this, I've already listened to the entire album by this point. I'm recording these lyrical dissections after I've already recorded my reaction to the music and, but this is probably the best song on the album in my mind. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. There's a couple other really, really, really good ones, but this one has such a cool build up. They build tension so much, and then that heavy section that comes in twice is just so freaking high energy, awesome. The lyrics, this was one of the few songs where I could actually pick out some lyrics, and yeah, I liked the lyrics as well. So let's take a look at the exact lyrics so that I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. All right, Paranoid Android was the first single from OK Computer and is characterized by three distinct moods, written in what Tom York referred to as three different states of mind. Yeah, that breakdown in the middle where everything got really slow. Man, the song's nuts. The song's lyrics tie in with a number of themes common in OK Computer, including insanity, violence, slogans, and political objection to capitalism. Okay? York's lyrics were based on an unpleasant experience at a Los Angeles bar, during which he was surrounded by strangers high on cocaine. In particular, he was frightened by a woman who became violent after someone spilled a drink on her. The woman inspired the line "kicking, squealing, Gucci little piggy" in the song's second section. York described her as inhuman and said there was a look in this woman's eyes that I had never seen it before anywhere else. I couldn't sleep that night because of it. In an issue of Rolling Stone, the band has compared the song to other multi-part rock pieces by famous artists and tackled the often raised comparison with progressive rock. Tom York said it was 50% Bohemian Rhapsody, if I could ever get that many vocals together, and 50% Happiness is a Warm Gun. Ed O'Brien said, "To me, the song sounded like Queen meets the Pixies. People thought it was prog, but prog took itself too seriously. Paranoid Android, there's kind of a serious message in there, but it's also kind of cartoon-like." Johnny Greenwood said, "There's a Mellotron in it. I remember hearing a Genesis record and thinking the Mellotron sounded amazing, so I stole it. It was either nursery rhyme or Selling England by the pound. It didn't sound like any other keyboard. Instead, there was a choir, and a weird, screwed-up sort of choir. I love the fact that the notes run out after a few seconds. Some relative of the inventor was trying to remake them. They came with the tapes in and it turned out they all belonged to Tangerine Dream, which is getting into prog territory. The song was also used as an ending theme for an anime series called Ergo Proxy." Tom York said, "Paranoid Android is about the dullest freaking people on Earth." From Radiohead.com, circa 1997. It used to say, "Paranoid android in a bar in Hollywood, the center of the Western universe. Standing at the bar, social drinking after doing the talk show bit. Do you want to know this? Is this what we aspire to be? It is dark. There is a woman opposite, as sociably anorexic as her poodle. She looks desolate in her makeup and lost eyes. Next to her husband boyfriend. Next to her, her husband boyfriend is persuading a younger, fleshed, half his age stewardess to come back to the hills to their mansion to sample his wine. She looks at him like he's a character in a Hammer House horror. One of our friends spills a glass of wine over a vacuum-packed Gucci outfit packed complete with matching white handbag. The witch goes crazy. We think it's funny until we see the evil in her eyes. My friend is asked to leave. The Gucci creature is the closest thing I've seen to the devil. The woman is possessed. I cannot sleep that night asking what we've gotten ourselves into. Voices talking like fax machines, hissing and spitting like demons. Now I'm a part of it. Anyway, you didn't want to know that. All right, let's take a look at the lyrics, shall we? I'm not sure. It's interesting. I feel like I would have had to been there, had to have been there. The perception of Tom York with that experience with the woman is interesting to me. So he's saying that he and his friends spilled wine on her clothes, and then she got mad or had a look in her eyes that made him not be able to sleep. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at the lyrics. Please, could you stop the noise? I'm trying to get some rest from all the unborn chicken voices in my head. Okay. York has said the lyrics are based on an unpleasant experience in a noisy bar. As the subsequent lyrics show, however, that's just a jumping off point. As he often does, York has abstracted the experience that he had in the bar and used it as inspiration for a song with more general meaning. In Paranoid Android and much of OK Computer, York describes an emotional landscape of paranoia and confusion created by modern urban life and interactions with strangers. One interpretation is that the voices represent an internal conflict, and the noise around him only seems to add to a pre-existing problem. After all, unborn is another way of saying not brought into existence. Chicken's another word for coward, and voice is synonym for opinion or input. Basically, the narrator is asking to take a break from all the worldviews that he's too scared to express. So they're still in his head, and he regrets it. Interesting interpretations and meanings intended by the original artist, because I got almost none of that. When I listened to the song, I felt a lot of angst, a lot of like anger, right? Ambition makes you look pretty ugly, he says, right? He's like, yeah. When I heard this stuff, I was thinking, when I am king, you will be first against the wall. It's someone who's like nuts and who was like put down all the time, and then they like somehow rise to power, and now they're seeking out all of the people who did them wrong originally because they are paranoid and almost robotic and cold and calculating at this point. And you don't remember me. Off with your head. Off with his head. Why don't you remember my name? Well, I guess now you remember my name. And then I'm not really sure what the end is like this chorus of disgust, destruction. But anyway, let's continue looking at what was intended. What's that? I may be paranoid, but not an android. What's that? I may be paranoid, but not an android. When I am king, you will be first against the wall, with your opinion, which is of no consequence at all. Love that line, by the way. Like the way he sings it. Then what's that? I may be paranoid, but no android. Ambition makes you look pretty ugly. Kicking, squealing, Gucci little piggy. This is when the guitar gets so cool. Do 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 do. And it starts being like an acoustic guitar. And we've got all these weird sounds going in the background. Yeah, the song's freaking awesome. You don't remember. Why don't you remember my name? Off with his head, man. Off with his head, man. Why don't you remember my name? I guess he does. Let me slow down. Rain down, rain down. Come on, rain down on me. From a great height, from a great height. You know, we go into that. That's it, sir. You're leaving. The crackle of pigskin, the dust and the screaming, the yuppies networking, the panic, the vomit, the panic, the vomit. God loves his children. God loves his children. And yesterday on Twitter, and I'm not even sure if this is correct, but I saw someone talking about how in the original version of this song, it said God loves his children, that's why he kills them. And Tom York was asked to remove that line, or else the record company wouldn't release the album. I'm not sure if that's true, but it's an interesting story. Maybe it'll actually say it right here. Yes. Okay, there you go. This gives a much more aggressive and literal ending of the song. Yeah. This line, the yuppies, this entire part right here, the lyrics of it remind me a little bit of American Psycho. The yuppies networking, the dust and the screaming, the crackle of pigskin, the panic, the vomit. Yeah. All right. Um, let's see. The Hitchhiker's Guide. Yeah. Also, Paranoid Android, obviously, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. Describes the marketing department of this Sirius Cybernetics Corporation as a bunch of mindless jerks who will be the first against the wall when the revolution comes. Curiously, an edition of the Encyclopedia Galactica, which conveniently fell through a rift in the space-time continuum from 1,000 years in the future, describes the same corporation as a bunch of mindless jerks who were the first against the wall when the revolution came. In the Hitchhiker books and shows, Marvin the Paranoid Android is Sirius's most prominent achievement. The line also explores the idea of petty revenge. By giving the line as a sort of one-off comment, it acts as a retort from Tom York, possibly in the past, to those he dislikes in a very juvenile way by implying he may not be able to do something now, but will be able to later, and they'll regret it. While it may appear as if York is showing off his trademark cynicism, saying you'll die with your worthless thoughts about worthless things, he's said that's how the character of the song is feeling, not a reflection of how he actually feels. That's the joke. It's the other way around. It's actually my opinion that's of no consequence at all. Oh, that's interesting. York has said the title of Paranoid Android was chosen as a joke. It was like, oh, I'm depressed, and I thought, that's great. That's how people would like me to be. He said he's depressed, though. I actually looked that specific fact up on Reddit, and there was multiple connections to interviews where... Anyway, all right. This suggests how York views the narrator. A depressed and depressing drag on everybody else. I guess, okay, that makes sense. A miserable figure in a bar full of people trying to have a good time. The fact that this is sort of a joke is highlighted by the obvious reference to the humorous Douglas Adams series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Great series, and more specifically, Marvin the Paranoid Android. Marvin is the robot aboard the starship Heart of Gold. He's afflicted with severe depression and boredom, partly because he has a brain the size of a planet, which he is seldom, if ever, given the chance to use. All right, then we get to the first bridge. In many countries, clear displays of ambition are distasteful and to be avoided. The image Gucci little piggy kicking and squealing captures revulsion and embarrassment many feel after seeing one debase themselves in this way. Secondhand embarrassment, yay. Gucci is a designer brand, often worn as a display of status, and a pig is stereotypically dirty creature that wallows in its own filth. Here it may be referring to a specific individual, though. At this hectic and up-tempo point in the song, the narrator expresses frustration at the notion of being forgotten, or just another cog in the machine, as Android grows passionate to the point of violence. The time signature abruptly switches between 4/4 and 7/8, an auditory match for the confusion and unrest of being dehumanized to the point of namelessness. Here's where York's Paranoid Android starts to really diverge from the original Marvin the Paranoid Android. In The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there's a running gag that Marvin is forgotten or ignored in increasingly cruel ways, but he never lashes out against the humans. In fact, he prevents a galactic war by convincing an ultra-violent supercomputer to commit suicide. York's android, on the other hand, submits to these violent urges. Meanwhile, off with his head is similar to the Queen of Hearts trademark exclamation from Alice in Wonderland. Rain down. Yeah. This may be a reference to the story of Noah's Ark in the Bible. Oh, that would actually make sense. So the point of that story or whatever is, cleansing the earth and destroying everything except for like one person. So he's like, all right, let's put an end to everything. It could also be a reference to the talking of the dull people, talking on and on. The instrumental, then solos represent the chaotic gibberish of dull people. Da 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 da, blah 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 can be heard in the background. The rain down bit is a resignation to the fact that they can't be stopped. The lines describe the death of someone, potentially the android itself, because of the rain. Water has the ability to short out circuits. Pig skin is very similar in taste and texture to human skin. Wait, what? Pig skin is similar in taste and texture. Who's testing this stuff? And pigs are a common metaphor for inhumane people. It's basically the description of someone dying, might be the android itself due to the rain. The irony is, of course, in the line, the yuppies networking, which in this depressing context makes it sound out of place, so one can just smell the cynicism that turns back around about how awful and depressing it really is. The last comfort of dying, and also possibly the last line of cynicism, comes in the next two lines about God loves his children. And the death might also be of the android's enemies. Android's enemies are leaving. This could be peaceful, like exiting a bar. But the next line suggests a violent fantasy being played out as his enemies are being burned. And yeah, then you come to the final line, which is pretty sarcastic. In the original form of the song, he used to sing a variation of the original ending. This way could be interpreted with the sad robot as our protagonist is also worth mentioning. God indeed loves his children, but would God consider a machine as his child? In this version, the character decides that he is unloved by God, spiraling into rage and confusion. This rush of angst could be represented by the ending guitar solo. However, the record company made him change the lyrics. So, yeah, that's Paranoid Android, one of the most aggressive and crazy and masterful songs, in my opinion, on this record. All right, that's song number 2. Moving on. Thank you very much for joining me, as always. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys soon in the next video. Deathstroke 9 out. Thank you for watching.